Let's get to the bottom of this one. Unspoken truths that I miss one. Tap into the minds of the people, rather acknowledge before I dismiss one. Atheists, Muslim, Christians, Buddhists, they all got usage. All got perspective, it's a collective. Get to the bottom where the truth is. Where the heart's uncovered. Where you detox from all of the lies you smothered. Where them tries could have killed you, but with faith you recover. Yup. Peel off the makeup, we finna take off. Never said it'd be a cakewalk. Meditate till we charged up. Execute goes regardless. Decalcify my pineal. Breaking language barriers, we saw millennials. Planets passing age rotations, down me we owe. So down me we know. Sometimes we can be slow, that's why my ears open. Every drop you add could complete the ocean. Speak up, play your part too. Been vulnerable, it's so hard to.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kimberly with Unseen Twisted Truth. We are DDH's mic was unmuted. I apologize for the bottom of the People's podcast. May come and join us today. We're here to talk about perception versus reality. And does manifestation matter? Does it make a difference in your reality? So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Henry, you want to touch base on that?
Did you say me? You're a little garbled, Kimberly.
We just worked on that.
We did, and it changed. It's coming back now. Technology.
How about that? Is it still bad?
No, I'm liking it now. That sounds good. It might have been a technical interruption, or not your fault. Now you said, did you call on me for manifestation?
Yes, I wanted to talk about the title.
Well, let's manifest something. Yeah, perception and manifestation. Let's say they go hand in hand. We'll break it down really easily. If you're perceiving bad things, perhaps you're going to manifest bad things. If you're perceiving things in a more of a positive light, I bet you're going to see more of a positive turnout from the things that you wish and want for. And there may be a lot of power behind it. Let's go.
SGF Graham.
Peace.
What's up?
Perception. Do you think that matters? That versus reality. What's the difference between perception and reality?
Understanding that we live in a mental world experiencing the physical. So your perception deals with your mental, what you allow to come in, some by force, some you didn't have no choice or whatever, and it's something you got to fight through. That pretty much draws how you feel about life, and your manifestation can work, will work it out.
Do you feel that matters though? Do you feel that manifestation is a big part of your reality and perception?
If you want to make sure it's what you want, yeah.
So everybody keeps saying to me, and I can't say everybody. I lied. A big majority of people I talk to, though, have said to me that, oh, well, in reality, and I would be like, well, my reality is different than yours, and they would be like how? Because we live in the real world. And I told them, what you see and what you think is your reality, is not what I see and what I think, because that is not my reality. And I made a post the other day about love in this world, and that I can't wait till it no longer exists. And someone said, in our lifetimes we won't be able to see it. And I said, Whose? I said, because I will. And I'm not talking about 100 years from now. I'm not talking about 20 years from now. I'm talking about tomorrow. Tomorrow, I will see love in everything I do and in what I surround myself around. And that's just all it's going to be. And that's all I'm going to speak on is love. Let's just use the example of matter. I've said this time and time and time again. Matter only exists when you give it attention. And that's the same thing about negative energy. Negative energy does not exist unless you give it attention. It may go on around you, but you don't have to give it that attention. You don't have to acknowledge it. And once you come with terms with that and you realize that you do create your reality by what you say, because it all starts with a thought. So what you think to what you say becomes action. And
You
it's
know,
hard. Go ahead.
oh, well, I was gonna say, there's some animals completely live under the ground, and they don't have any pigmentation in their skin. They can't see like that, and their reality's 100% different from ours, but they still live in the same physical world. All right, we got perception, and that guides us through the physical world. That changes, but the world doesn't change based on your perception, or does it?
Yes, it does.
Let's talk.
SGF Graham, does the world change based on your perception?
No, no, just how you see it. Well, this is just my opinion or whatever. I believe it's the same side of a coin. Um, the energy, negative and positive, is completely the same. I kind of look at it as people like to scream white magic and dark magic. It's the same concept. It's just what they do with it that gives it a negative aspect or a positive aspect. Well, so I look at negative and positive like that. That's why I feel like, for me, the way that I get over things is I find something that's equally positive to that negative to hold on to, because or higher, but at least equally positive. That way it zeroes it out for me.
Okay, and I can receive that. And the reason why I told you yes, um, Henry, was because, oh, hey, Lizzie, I love you finally made it. The reason why I told you yes is because what I see is all exists to me. Anything outside of that is none of my business. So for you to tell me that is not the real world around me, it doesn't see what I see, I don't really actually care, because at the end of the day, it's only what I see that matters to me, if that makes any sense.
It does. It and you. Here's the thing. I think we're bestowed rights, and those rights are bestowed upon us by having a brain.
Hmm.
It's not, dropping agreements and everything aside. The cells conjoined to make a brain, and with that brain, it really comes whatever you can perceive, right?
Hmm.
We have laws, we have rules, we have standards, we have morals, things, and some of these are so easy to perceive, like conduct, that they're just kind of commonplace. You got people of regularities who go against that, and you stand out very, very, very hard. You can perceive certain things. Those rights bestowed upon us are obviously unalienable, even if somebody says they're not. But you can't. There's certain things you can't change with perception. You have the ability to look away, and we have the ability to help or interact, is a better word. You're not obliged to do either. But it depends. It's almost impossible, it seems to me, to spend your entire existence without interacting in one way or another, or feeling strong about something. And you can
Facts,
feel strong and control it well.
facts. I told
Like you
I, I told somebody the other day. I told him, I said, I have a hard time remembering that people hate people, because there's not one person in this world that I hate. And there's not, and I've been through things. Even the person that tried doing what they did to me, I have love for them. Now, it's not the love where I did before. I allow a snake to be a snake. I just know that what a snake does, and either have a choice to distance myself or to constantly walk around knowing what a snake does. So, with that being said, however, whatever happened for me, now you heard me say for me, so whatever happened for me was meant to help me grow. I do not hold that against them because I allowed it. Did I encourage it? No. What were the red flags? Yes. So I allowed it. I allowed that to happen. I am not mad at nobody, not even myself. And I am grateful for it because I learned a lot from it and I grew 1,000% more from that. Now, with that being said, I removed myself from the situation, or that person no longer exists in my reality. The only hold I have of that situation is because I speak on it. And I don't speak on it from an unhealed place. I don't speak on it from trauma. I speak on it for education purposes only, because if I wasn't on the show talking and showing people things, for example, I wouldn't speak on that because it does not affect my everyday living, and that's my choice. So when I said, can your perception change your surroundings around you in the whole world? And I say yes. Because how we perceive it is exactly how it is to us. If we perceive it shitty, then it's going to be shitty. If we perceive it to be rainbows and butterflies, then no matter what, it's going to be rainbows and butterflies because I control myself. And I told somebody, I said, no matter how you feel about me, no matter how you feel about me, it will never change how I feel about you. You can't make me. You can't make it happen. I will love you regardless. That's just how it's going to be.
I relate to that. I'm sitting here trying to think about something to disprove this situation. I'm thinking, we perceive bears. We're not going to change the bear, right? A bear is going to kill somebody. It's a vicious. It's not always going to kill you, but you're not going to want to tangle with a bear.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you're not going to change that. And then I remember people train bears,
mm-hmm.
right? You can't, if you perceive a bear as a puppy dog, 9 times out of 10 you're going to get killed. But there's a 1% chance there where that bear is going to become your puppy dog friend, right? And then I'm like, well, how about gravity, right? We're humans. We don't have wings or airfoils. We just fall. We succumb to gravity. But we didn't, did we?
Mm-mm.
We're flying all over the place. We did have to have some kind of perception of that. And I guess there's kind of 2 ways of looking at that, right? Because how much can you perceive? How much can we change the physical world with our perception? And the answer is, since we discovered fire, which is still the most important discovery our species has ever made, a lot. Introducing the wheel.
And it all started with a thought from the 5th dimension. There was a thought from the 5th dimension sent on down to you. And I was speaking to SGF Graham about this before, and he said, what about the 4th dimension? And I said, a lot of us live in that. A lot of us do. And I choose to. I don't just see things for what it is. Not only do I see things for what I want to see it as, I also feel frequencies. I feel energy. I no longer look with my eyes because I can't really see out of these eyes anyhow. Once I learned to stop looking out of these eyes that were given to me, I started seeing from within my soul. And I have faith. And I just know. I just know I'm here for a purpose and to fulfill it. And I just know it's rainbows and butterflies. And no one can tell me anything different because, well, they can. They can. Let me correct that. They can tell me all they want. I won't believe it. And that's my perception and that's my reality by choice.
We're all here for a purpose, right?
Yes.
Even if you die in a crack house somewhere and your body is accounted for with your overdose records on it, you're added to a list of statistics.
There's a reason
and those
for
statistics
something.
are looked at by professionals. And I've looked up overdoses and cases like that, and it's a sad thing. But it's a cold, hard fact right there that you have put up. to the world how dangerous something can be. You know, there's all kinds of horrible ways to look at it. We got Kendall's having a situation. Kendall Cobb, I don't hate. I may like or disagree. I learn as we go through life. We're all human beings. We're here to absorb all the experiences we face daily. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Life is a beautiful thing. It is.
And I choose to see things differently on that aspect too, and that's my choice. I don't feel I'm a human. I'm having an experience of one, yes, but I will never ever settle for something less than what I know I am. And I am whatever I say I am. If I say I'm a frog, then I'm a frog, and who's to tell me I'm not? Because I don't care.
Like,
And then that's just how it has to be. Because at the end of the day, you only can control you. I don't want someone to be like me, and I don't want to try to change people. I want them to be exactly who they're supposed to be and allow me to be who I'm supposed to be. And if you don't allow me, that's okay because you can't stop me. SGF Graham, do you receive that?
I receive it for the most part. I understand where you was coming from on the perception, not being a slave to your eyes, and you got to be it before the world even knows you are. You know, certain manifestation things like that. I understand. Mm, I guess forever and a day, I always focused on the problems of not manifesting and why I'm in my situation. That as of lately, like the last year or so, I just been gaining knowledge and information on how to fix it. Like pretty much when I talk to anybody about perception, manifestation, or whatever, I pretty much go in straight what I think will help them out because we all got a story to tell. We all
Mm-hmm.
even if your plight story wise was sounds worse than mine, I'm pretty sure mine touched my soul like yours touched your soul and his touched his soul
Mm-hmm.
like mine touched my soul. You know, no matter what we went through enough for what we had to go through or whatever, you know. And so I dodged the stories. One, my story can sound pretty crappy like everybody else's or whatever, you know. So I'm like, hey, let's just fix it and talk about that. We'll talk about let's talk about like what we did once we fixed it or how we fixed it. Because everybody got a story and we could just depress each other like that energy, that depression energy,
Mm-hmm.
it lingers and we don't even know it. Whatever, like songs. You can listen to depressed songs and you don't even know why your day went bad because you was probably thinking about something else while that song was playing, but subconsciously your brain picked it up, whatever, and now for some reason you just feeling down.
Before you get too far, I'd like to say that you touched on the fact of perception. You touched on the fact of perception. You don't have to perceive it that way. You don't have to perceive your story that way. Because one thing is, nothing happened to you. Nothing happened to you. It only happened for you. Because if it didn't happen, you wouldn't have this ability to learn and to become stronger like you are. Sometimes these lessons that we have to learn, and I don't want to change how you see things. And the point of the People's Podcast is just give them another way they could think of it if they want to. Not telling you this is how you have to see it. But if you want to heal and be able to have strength, you have to see with discernment and give yourself grace. You just have to. And nothing grows from a negative spot. But if you see positive in it, even if you try to change it and say, well, I only say this because it's my way of kidding with myself. And this is Henry does it often and I get on him every time. When you start seeing things from the way you want to live, that's when your life starts changing because you can't change your life, but you can change how you think of it. how you feel about it and how you see it, and then watch your life change because it's going to match. It's going to match to the energy of how you see it. If you can receive that. What did Mary say, Henry?
Mary Paquette. Wow. Hi. Hello. Whatever is received in the manner of the receiver.
That's right.
Scholastic philosophy.
And that's so true. What did Danny say?
We got Danny. It's like the quote that says the optimist sees the donut, the pessimist sees the hole. At one time, I was the pessimist. Yeah, but I like donut holes, Danny. Okay. They're really good. Timbits are shiznit, right?
But
Living style, yeah.
SGF Graham, if I could help you in a second, not to change how you see things, because I don't want to do that. But if I can give you a tool that may help you benefit how you see things, I would love to do that. So instead of seeing things as it happening to you, start seeing it as it happened for you, and to stop seeing things as in a difficulty or a sad story, a depressing story, as in a growing tool that helped you get better. Because if none of that went on, you wouldn't have been who you are today.
Yeah,
And
I
we
definitely don't agree with that. I
and you
definitely
don't
don't
have
agree with
to.
that. Let me tell you why I would have, because
Okay.
see, this way you kick in with science on the brain, and the
Mhm.
brain with repetition.
Mhm.
Repetition, no matter if it's negative or positive, your brain, your subconscious, everything about you, you mentally and you physically don't appreciate what you're going through, but subconsciously and super subconsciously you've accepted it. Well,
Because
so
it takes 3 times for something to become a habit, and our mind is addicted to the trauma, the trauma endorphins that are released. So when the trauma endorphins are released scientifically, when the trauma endorphins are released, that's what we get for like a high. They become like a serotonin, like a high for us. They become this thing that we get addicted to, and we get comfortable in that. You can change that too, because that also comes with the positive energy. That also changes in your endorphins in your brain. It will, scientifically. When you speak to water and you speak negative to water, it changes the frequency of the water pattern to look ugly, broken, damaged. When you speak love into water before it freezes, you speak positivity into water before it freezes, it comes a beautiful shape. And it stays in a homeostasis of the frequency of energy. It doesn't go against it. It stays with the current. That's scientifically. So,
I do hype up my ice cube trays.
and I do get what I do get what you're saying though.
you can't get what I'm saying because I didn't finish.
No, and I'll let you finish. I just before you got
I
too
didn't
far,
finish.
I just want to put a pin in that before I forgot what that part to add on to what you're saying. But go ahead.
I got ADD. I don't remember whatever. I
So
don't
do
remember.
I.
I was going
What?
off the top of my head, like,
So does Henry. So does Danny. You were saying that the negative, your subconscious remembers the negative.
I don't even remember because you went off of what I was saying. Like, I don't.
Because I
But
do know
it's
that,
cool. It'll draw back. It'll draw back.
yeah, because I do know that you're
Just
talking
continue
about
with your saying.
how the subconscious remembers. You said it becomes like a habit forming, and it becomes natural. Your subconscious will pick up from that, and even when you don't think of it, your subconscious will always remember it.
You know what
Any
we remember the best off of?
hmm,
Smell. Smell. You know what my favorite smell is? Fiberglass resin. What? Why? Because that was my dad's shop was an old fiberglass shop, like a boat shop, and that's all they used in the shop. So my fondest, make me happy smell in the frickin' world is fiberglass resin. You can't put it on a sandwich. You can just smell it. I mean, and you get really high off of it, so you got to smell it very carefully. But it's not good for you. But
not at
yes,
all.
I love that.
Back in the day before tone, before people spoke, before words, smell was the first way of communicating, and then it went to sound of music, but smell was it. So when you wanted to call your neighbor, you'd put a pie out on the windowsill, and you'd wave a little towel to the pie, and the smell would travel, and that's how people knew it was time for dinner and stuff like that. Before the whole bell and everything, it was smell. So smell was one of our first senses that we used before we started communicating.
It's a powerful one.
Hmm.
And the subconscious is really powerful too. It remembers like
Extremely,
that.
extremely. And I don't want to discredit anybody for how they see it, because at the end of the day, that's their reality, and I'm not mad by their reality. And I do apologize, SGF Graham. I too, we all do have ADHD, and I will forget. And I just wanted to touch base on something because, like, no, there ain't no reason. Yeah, no, we all have ADHD.
The H is for Henry.
But yeah, I can receive, though. I just wish that I don't wish nothing.
This has
Words
been
matter.
such a
Words
bad one.
matter. Words matter. Words matter, and that's the thing. Words matter, and I've learned that. And I pick and choose my words cautiously, with intent, because a lot of people misuse words, and they don't know the what is it, the anatomy, what is it, anima, it's the
What?
study of words. The etymology, it's means the study of words. But anyhow,
Oh,
it's okay. I didn't pronounce it right, but it's close to that. So at the end of the day, a lot of people don't know what that means, let alone what a word means that they're saying. Um, like the MF word, people use that quite often, and they use it out of context, and they didn't realize where it derived from. Nobody knows where it came from when they're using it. I promise you, because if you did, I don't think you go around saying it like you do.
oh, it's kind of self-explanatory.
Still, I don't think they
Yeah.
would. A lot of people that use it would use it because it's a racist, derogatory word, and a lot of people don't know that. So when it comes down to words that we use, they are misused. A lot of them are. A lot of them are, and it actually hurts someone who's healing when you don't realize it and they know what the word means. And a lot of people that are hurt people, and I share stuff of many different people because I love to see people grow. It doesn't matter who they are, and I tend to forget who doesn't like who. So I'm still offending somebody by not offending them, by supporting somebody they don't mess with. And I can't wrap my head around that, because if I tried and sat, and I love the people, so my intent is to not cause conflict or to not support them, because it's not being fake. It's the fact of, if I went around and thought about everybody that everybody didn't like, a lot of people wouldn't be supported, and that's not fair. That's not fair. I can't carry that for you. I can't carry that heaviness for you, because it's heavy. When you think of negative energy, it's heavy. You think of hatred, it's heavy. You think of revenge, that's heavy. And I was trying to talk somebody out of thinking of revenge, and they said to me, if you knew what I knew, you would want revenge too. And I said, no, probably not. Probably not. I don't want revenge from anybody. And I could tell you many of things, and people will think that nothing traumatic has happened to me or for me. And that's not the case. A lot of traumatic things has happened for me. I just choose not to have that heaviness around me. And I don't have to carry it. I don't have to. And it is the yin and the yang and the balance. And it still will exist, but it doesn't have to exist into me. And that's my choice. And until I can train myself, because the most powerful thing is self control. And when I come to the point where I have dharma, the control of nothing around me will affect me whatsoever. That control, I'm going to keep trying and pushing until I get that.
You can get to the point of self control where you could literally immolate yourself because it's happened before and sit there and not react to the situation whatsoever. But do you think for 1 second that somebody who has done that, though they're not bothered by that situation, aren't bothered?
And you can't tell them that they are. And that's the point about reality. It may
But
seem like to
it's
you that it's just not physically able to happen. You may feel that there's no way. There's no way. Like your subconscious is going to remember. There's no way. But who are you to tell them that?
they want to. Maybe they want to. Yeah, yeah.
Who are you to tell them though? Who are you to say, "Hey, no, that's not. You're not seeing it right." Your subconscious is
Sometimes making a
holding on to that
statement
negative.
to
When
make a
I
statement like that takes some willpower.
when I interrupted, and I didn't wasn't rude about it, but when I interrupted SGF Graham, um, I wasn't telling him how he felt was wrong because I don't know what's really right. I'm not in his brain. I'm not in his eyes. I'm not in his soul. I am not in his shoes. So I can't tell him anything about how he sees things, feels things, anything is wrong at all. It's not my place. And if a lot of people just mind their own business, they wouldn't worry about what somebody else thought or that somebody else what somebody else was doing because it wasn't them that was doing it. And how is it affecting you when somebody else is doing something you didn't want them to do? How's that affecting you? It's not unless you allow it to.
It's really hard to be unbothered.
SGF Graham, please forgive me.
I done moved on, trying to figure out the next thing I'm gonna say, but all was good.
Okay.
But it was
I know.
This
nothing. It was. I don't know what type of connotation I was given, but I'm a 1 gazillion% sure if I would have finished out what I said, you would have saw that it was nothing negative about anything I was saying. Like I'm a very versed, studied person.
Mhm.
Not to be on no bragging rights or whatever, but yeah, I'm in a league of my own with my studies. Or most of the time, I'm in a league of my own
Mhm.
with my studies. Yeah.
Do you feel like an outsider?
Of course, but I don't care. Like I'm past.
Yeah.
I'm past. Well, in some cases or whatever, because I also was on the other side before as well. And if I feel too outside, I feel it rear up that like y'all like I want to make people kind of listen to me, and I know that I can't do that, you know, and so I get out of that situation, or I even won't go around. So I don't. I got to be at least semi comfortable to be around anything. But I have been told like I don't know how to talk without giving a lesson or teaching.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And I was talking to my daughter-in-law the other day. I said, it sucks sometimes knowing what you know because you can't unknow it, and the things you want to share with other people so they can see what you see. It drives you insane, and to not share it, you feel like you're doing a misjustice to people and yourself and the world because it was so freeing just to know what I know. It was such a beautiful gift to be in the headspace that I'm in. They people fight all the time around me, and it's odd to me because I don't do that, It's odd to me. I don't do that. Even when someone hit me in my face, I just don't do that. I don't, and that was recently. I just don't do that. I don't meet that energy, and I still show it with love. So it is hard to walk around a lot of people that don't see what you see and not try to be a teacher, because usually it's heavy what they see, dark, negative. What did Lizzie say?
Lizzie says, I always feel like an outsider. I feel like I never fit in. I always have.
Hmm.
Oh, I cannot pronounce that. Lily Lucadon. Okay, I'm cracking my phone screen and I could not. Love and Light. We always love Love and Light. Love and Light is good. Love it. Thank you.
You're not a crack in his phone screen. There is a crack in his phone screen. They couldn't read
Yes.
it.
Yeah, because I throw my phone around. I have ADHD, so I'm trying to do 1,000 things. And I look down, I'm holding a lighter, a gun, my phone, a tube of lipstick, and a grocery bag full of peanut casings or whatever. That's just
Yeah,
what I do.
yeah.
And I'm trying to rewire a car.
So when it feels heavy, you know that feeling of world around you just feels heavy, and like you want to snap. When it feels heavy, that's when I change how I see it. Either remove myself from the situation and meditate, or I change how I see the situation and I start trying to see the positive in the situation. And then I feel the energy around it shifting. And I can't say that it's because the people around it change. It's because how I'm perceiving it now. It's because of my reality's changing because of how I'm perceiving it by choice. Because instead of seeing it like it's heavy in here and then there's a lot of fighting going on and there's just, I just start seeing it as a lot of people need to heal, and I wish they knew how to talk it out more than what they're doing.
We
Because,
do the podcast, right?
hmm,
To do that, I do my little shadow work behind the scene. I used to try and teach people about alcohol addiction and shit all the time. And zip, screw that. I'm gonna snap that head right off and I'm gonna like paint over it. And I dialed back because people don't really want to hear a lot of shit. I am more than happy to impart knowledge. And if I talk about my own situation and just kind of be, people are like, oh, well, I guess Henry looks pretty freaking happy without alcohol or whatever. Well, you can lead by example rather than try and explain everything. But there's a time and a place, and I feel like I'm a little bit of both, Kimberly. I It's been a skill of mine to not see red,
yeah,
to learn in my life to not see red. That was one of the biggest things I had to turn off, was seeing red. Because now I can be a little bit of both. And it feels good to be able to control when we fight, not just fight, when we engage, and when we can dial it back. And it feels good to have enough leeway, the ability to make enough leeway to give yourself that out. Because nothing always has to be a fisticuffs kind of thing. In certain situations, you can't control it, but
what
perceptions really lead you down the path of just kind of corresponding with people in a good way, even if it's bad.
would Katrina say?
Katrina Krasky, you're absolutely right, 100%. And damn, if I could rewind it, she said that to something, and I don't
To
remember.
something was talking about heaviness
Fully
around me,
agree.
because these all just popped in. What's this one?
Fully agree on the healing from Kendall Cobb. Lizzie Charlotte, same always holding 99 things. Yeah,
And she took things
freaking
again because she must have misspelled it.
things. Yeah, I can't even keep things in my pocket.
You know what I'm grateful for though? Even though I got a lot going on and I sit things down, since I've been able to calm myself with inside myself and be able to decar- decompartmentalize and take things one task at a time. I do a bunch at one time, but when I think of it, I'm taking it one step and I try to trace my step and I find everything. I never misplace something. I never forget where I put it. And I'm grateful for that because I do carry around a bunch of stuff and set things down and I remember where I set it. I remember where I sit things. I remember where I put things.
You remember?
I do. And not only do I remember, but I will sit within myself and I will say, like, if somebody sat something and, like, the baby lost the number one thing that happens all the time, the baby always loses his binky. So the baby loses his binky. I sit and think, and I'm like, where would that binky be? And then all of a sudden I'm searching in between the sheets and I find the binky. Not the sheets on the bed that I'm on, but on the ground, in between the sheets on the ground, and I find the binky. Because once I become so in tune with myself, I happen to feel things. I feel things around me. It's crazy. Someone could say they lost something, and I will tell them where I think it is, and it usually is where I think it is because I feel it, not because I have that ESP or whatever. It's because I'm feeling energy. Because
It's,
once
I'm
again,
good at finding shit too. You get like the eagle eye ability, right? That's something we can unlock
yeah,
in our character upgrade sheet. But I at the same time sabotage myself because anything I will color coordinate where I set things down. So I'll take a black or a pink lighter and I'll set it on something black or pink. My
ah,
mind does that. I fucking hide things on myself because I color coordinate them. What else do you viewers do that's insane? The ADHD. I love it.
but how can we control how we perceive things? How can we change how we perceive things? Especially if we've been indoctrinated to it. If we've been told this by ourselves or our parents or different agreements and belief systems, how can we, it's been grandfathered into our mind. How can we change? SGF Graham, how can we change how we perceive things?
Outsmart the subconscious.
How do we do that?
Uh, Outsmarting the subconscious, meditation. Well, one, you got to understand that. Well, I like to look at it like a computer. The subconscious is like a computer. Everything you input, whether you want to or not, is going to output. Where everything that come in is going to come out or whatever. Just like a computer, whatever you download, you now have them files, whatever. But you have to outsmart the subconscious by recharging, uh, listening to certain meditation, relaxing. People don't know how much relaxation and getting away from the world, peace be quiet, peace be still, things of that nature. Um, so you can focus on what you want your reality to be. You have to feel it. Everybody will tell you to sit here and repeat it over and over and over, whatever, but it's honestly a feeling, emotions. Where everybody hard body out here and then wondering why they can't manifest. And it's really, you got to have your emotions in tune into what you want to perceive. And once you can feel it within, and I mean feel it like in your heart, you can vision it. And I ain't talking about like a whole picture. Like everybody want to see a whole picture. Like it could be somebody just congratulating you and giving you a hug. You can vision somebody that you love congratulating you and giving you a hug for whatever it is you wanted to accomplish. You're on your way to get into the manifestation or to the reality that you're trying to get to.
I like that.
All right, read these comments and I'm going to piggyback off of that if I can. What's this? If I may.
Same with the predictions I get all the time from Kendall Cobb. Lizzie Sorrow. I'm always misplacing things and then forget where I put them. Maybe it's my age. I'm 56. Maybe I'm slipping a bit. No. I'm 36
No.
or something like that, and I get some timers. It happens. Maybe that's all the drugs for me. Carefully. Hey, I do that daily with my OCD. Yeah. Ooh, I just did a new remix related to social media. I'll have to share it afterwards. Yeah. I may have that. I don't know. It's getting out of control. Maybe too much guns. I'm seeing a pattern. Daniel, decide to be in charge of your life, set goals for yourself, and make sure they're attainable. Don't set yourself up for failure. Absolutely. I have an answer too. When you're done piggybacking, I don't want to cut you off.
Okay. I don't remember what he said.
Oh, dude.
I don't remember what he said.
So he's talking about. I like the computer analogy for the subconscious because it is. It's something that's running. It's like what DOS, right? Running
Oh
all the
no,
time.
no, I do remember now. It's not just you got to. It's not just you gotta really think about. I apologize. It's not that you just really gotta think about what you want. You also have to be able to feel it. You also have to be able to not just feel it happening. If it's anything, if it's getting that job, you got to feel that emotion of getting that job. You can't just feel, yeah, I got the job. You got to feel the emotion of getting that job. You got to act like it happened now, and you got to not just visually see it, but you got to feel that. So a lot of people ask for something and they don't realize when it's there how to obtain it and maintain it because they don't know what it's like to have it from anything you're manifesting. You got to know what it feels like to have it before you even have it for it to come into your life. If you can receive that. SGF Graham, you receive that?
Oh, I received that. The only reason I shortened it down and I was stuttering over my words because I probably got like 2 pages worth of information that in my head, and I was trying to summarize it down to what I could say or what was the most important part of everything I had in my head.
Okay. I get that too. I get that too.
At least we're not screaming over each other like some horrifying news program like back in the day or whatever, Crossfire or whatever. Oh my god, yeah, that shit got miss me with that. That doesn't get anywhere. I
What were
want to
you
say
gonna
more
say?
too. Did you ask me? Okay.
Yeah.
There's I like SGF Graham's, yeah, like I said, the computer program analogy. And there are programs you can run to help improve your perception, in your subconscious. And those things would be things like acceptance. You can accept things. Tolerance is another one. I mean, empathy. Like with the meditation, when you piggyback it with doing hardware like that helps sharpen things. If you can learn to tolerate and learn to accept things, that you don't have to be happy about them, but you can most certainly learn to live with them,
That's a
or at least
big
find a way.
thing. That's a big thing too, acceptance. And I'm glad you brought that up because that's a key part of anything. You have to learn to accept to be able to remove. And a piece of you has to evaporate. A piece of you has to evaporate for something of you to grow, to to reform again. And once you remove what is no longer of you, that is not better serving you, then you are able to, but you have to accept what happened. You have to allow that emotion and then them. And I apologize. I don't have to keep saying have to because you don't. Um, Part of the stages though to be able to manifest is that to learn how to cope and to accept and allow those emotions to sit where they're supposed to sit, yet remove them when you're ready to. Don't fester on them. So it's the constant motion, like the homeostasis. It's the constant motion of things. You cannot get in your car, and I'm going to say this: you cannot get in your car and expect your car to run and last you for over 30 years if you don't let the oil warm up before you start the engine.
Preventative maintenance,
You
even.
have to, or you're going to burn up things and things aren't going to work properly. You're going to have a lot of maintenance and you're going to have a lot of wear and tear. And your car, the longevity of your car is not going to be as good as it would if you took care of it. And that's anything inside your life and your body and your mind. You got to be able to be a well oiled machine and allow emotions to come in, deal with them, remove them, and then continue the repeating cycle. That's just my opinion, and I do know that for a fact about the car, though.
Yeah, it's really good to do that. As an engine tech, check your oil.
But you have to be able to watch what you put inside of you too. You cannot surround yourself around negative energy at all the time, gossip, drama, and all that, and expect a positive outcome in life. You
Well,
have to
that's what SPF
surround.
is saying. It sticks in your head, like you've already downloaded that bullshit. Even if it can be affecting your subconscious, being around it, even if you think you're not letting it bother you, it does have a toll after a while.
In triggers, there's no such thing as triggers. I know Henry and I disagree on certain things, and that may be one. But at the end of the day, the problem with the trigger is the person that holds it, not the person that pulled it.
It's
And
hard to
that's a
say if we disagree on triggers or not.
because you say that sometimes you got to be cautious when people have COPD and and you don't want to purpose intention of causing harm, and that's not what I'm talking on. If anybody has something that is very sensitive subject to speak about, then heal yourself so you don't have that. And
Let's
it's
say
not
smoking.
easy. It's not easy, but it's doable. A lot
If
of
I,
things in a lot of things in this realm aren't easy, but they're doable. And the reason why they're done for you is because you're stubborn and bullheaded, and you will not learn any other way unless it was hard. And everybody loves a challenge,
sometimes I've had some things come easily. I did
and
figure out
that's
how to change weed whacker strings.
and that's because you allowed it to come into you easily. You didn't make a big deal out of it.
So when it comes to like acceptance and tolerance, I like to say the smoking argument. People especially people who smoke, and I'm like, can I smoke in here? And they're like, yeah, we're all smoking. I still ask, right?
Hmm.
Because and I don't go around groups of people and I smoke a cigarette because someone could be like, man, could you please not smoke it around me? And I'll have a very interesting opportunity to present dialogue options as a fellow human. I can be like, go fuck yourself. It's free country. Or I can be like, yeah, that's fair. You don't smoke. It's affecting you. Same thing goes with like kind of mental triggers and shit. Like, um, if you make like a little bang bang symbol at someone, well, you don't know if that motherfucker did 4 tours of duty and he's going to come right after you because his mind's about to snap. Like that's it's hard to deal with, and I've noticed that talking to a lot of people and ex-military too. I'm not poking fun at the ex-military. It's scary. PTSD. I care about people's triggers, and you can. That's kind of what I care about. I don't go out of my way to coddle people, but if someone actually presents me with something this caused me a lot of pain, well, I most certainly don't need to keep doing that. Then we can move on. A lot of people aren't willing to do that.
A lot of people aren't willing to do it. What is that comment?
Oh, Kendall Cobb, learning to let go is the hardest thing we must do for ourselves for regrowth. Yeah, we got Lizzie Sorrow. You can't, not all that negative energy makes me so drained. The drama and the loud people, I just get up and leave. I can't take it. Yeah, evasion.
And not even negative energy. I know me personally. I can't say for anybody else because I only can speak on self. Anybody else I don't know about. So I'm not a good teacher on that. So for self though, I've learned that even if it isn't negative energy, if it's just overstimulating and high frequency beings that match me that I can absorb off of, because we do absorb off of people. That's why we surround ourselves around certain people. Either we have that bond from trauma, we have that bond because we feed each other, we have that bond because their light helps our light get brighter. You know what I'm saying? So it's there's reasonings. It's frequency. So that we surround ourselves around people that give us that energy we need, them endorphins we need, that high, that serotonin, that that we look for. And the reason being is because, like Henry said about the smell of something, it's familiar to us. It feels good to us. It's comforting to us. I had learned that you have to be uncomfortable in order to get comfortable, just to get uncomfortable again, to get comfortable again, to get uncomfortable again. It's a repeating cycle.
That's a perception issue.
It is.
Remember, there's a lot of things that modern people aren't comfortable with that I
That's
fuck with.
right.
I find it really comfortable, and it really is a perception thing. And you're not
Mm-hmm.
obliged to go live in the woods like a crazy person like me. You don't have to. It's probably not a bad idea to learn something. But Kendall Cobb says it's just not all the negative energy. I'm an empath. Yeah, what's more exhausting, or what's harder to do? To sit there and talk to someone who you can't relate to at all, and just have to deal with it because you're in that situation. It's just one of those situations. Or is it harder to break off a conversation with someone you really like, you're getting exhausted from?
I
I
can't, I
think,
can't, I can't answer to neither of those honestly, because from my personal experience, I try to see both sides of every situation. I always do. I always say, "Oh, I get both sides. I get both sides. I can receive both sides because you know, you can if you can relate to both sides and if you can see where both people are coming from. I get it. Um, what's exhausting to me is energy, being able to control myself around until I get to that point of dharma. Honestly, controlling energy is hard for me to do because not only do I have a bunch of coming in at me, because like I said, I feel frequency. So not only do I have a bunch coming in at me, they're all different vibration and hertz. They're all different frequencies. I had to learn because I'm working in the medical field and with people with dementia and Alzheimer's for 19 years. I had to learn that when I walked in a room, that wasn't my energy. And I had to learn to leave that energy when I left the room too. Because when I walk in, they're not always the same person I walked in again. And it can be 5 minutes later, it can be 2 minutes later. They will not be the exact same person that I walked in at the beginning with. It
yeah,
could
that's
be
hard.
they're ready to get into the shower and they're loving me to pieces and they think I'm related to them too. I am trying to rape them and I'm forcing them to do something and they're kicking my ass. And I will not return that energy. So I had to learn to disassociate myself from energy because I get hyperstimulated. And it's not about being an empath. It's about learning how to control myself and not worrying about others.
So you had to practice detachment,
Yes.
emotional detachment as a caregiver.
Yes.
It's the duality of things. Negative things don't seem negative to some, and for others, it's absolutely practical. I did not want to hear about my grandmother's sex life, but she insisted on telling me at certain times, and it's like, oh, cool, my eyes, ears, stab them out. No, but you know what? I love my grandma, and I let it go. It was as nice as I could be.
It was the greatest thing ever. when
I
it,
can't scrub that from my memory, but I can perceive it as something that just happens. Life is goofy.
I've had so many experiences of things happening, then from elderly to children. I've been taking care of other people's children for a long time now, and I had mine at an early age. So taking care of others too. And I will tell my son that you see those boxes when he was younger. I would tell him, you see those boxes out there up with puppies? Well, they have one for kids too. And I don't have a problem with dropping you off and getting a different kid. I'll exchange you. Now that's probably trauma. And that's probably something he had to heal from.
I'm scared.
So I'm not
I'm not calling you
suggesting
mom
it.
anymore. No.
I'm not suggesting it. But at the end of the day, as I got older, I learned to tell my grandson, his his son, who now is going to be 11 next month, I learned to tell him, you see this face? Do you like the smile on this face? Because your energy will affect that. You will
Good
change
job.
how I react to that. And that's because I learned how to handle things. I learned how to deal with trauma in situations without getting personal and allowing my ego to get the best of me or feeling like was attacked or I had to defend. There's a highlighted comment and I got 4.
Oh, here we go. We got Lizzie Sarah. I am an empath as well. I can feel people's pain. Yeah, I think we all have the ability to be empaths, don't we? Maybe we don't.
Uh-huh.
Touch on it. Kendall says, get out of your comfort zones. Yeah. Probably, yeah. It's hard to break off the conversation. Oh, yeah. I think it's harder. I personally think it's harder to break off a conversation with someone I know and like just because um, it's more into it. And it's not that I don't care about people who don't click with me, and that's what makes that really hard because I try to treat people equally. And then Kendall Cobb says, "Grandma, no," with the exclamation part. Yep, that's correct. That's the correct answer. That's probably why there's a song called "Grandma Got Ran Over by a Reindeer."
Uh-huh.
Oh, I really got to calm down on the podcast. You guys don't get full frontal Henry. I'm really vulgar and coarse person in real life. I'm just good at controlling myself, and I want to say something about trains and stuff. I'm just, you know what, Lizzie Starrell, same here. Perfect.
So, how we handle situations, how we handle what's been said to us, how we handle what people do. Them are choices. Them are choices. That's another way of perceiving something. And I had to learn I had to learn how to be quiet. I had to learn how to listen. I had to learn how to receive. I had to not be impatient. I had to learn how to realize that even the people you love the most will hurt you because you're not going nowhere. You're the easiest target because you're not going nowhere. And they know that. And once they realize that they can lose you and that they will lose you, they won't forgive themselves. And none of any of that. And the reason why I had to learn it all is because I wanted to be better for me. Because none of that is forced. None of that was forced. We don't have to do shit. We don't have to do shit in this world. We all choose to do what we want to do to better ourselves, to be better for ourselves and for others.
Some of the shit we choose to do, I guess you don't have to care, right? What people think about you. You don't have to care, right? But is it nice to know people think positive things about you? Would you rather have more people talking shit or talking positive? Be like, oh, you're a pretty good person.
I honestly don't care.
You don't care.
No, because I had to learn to stop hearing what people said and stop seeing myself through my own eyes and start feeling.
Right.
Because those people that said that about me usually it was a cry for help. It usually was the ones that loved me the most.
Now, what about legacy?
What about legacy?
Do you care?
No. That's where
No.
my ego sits. I don't care. I don't do what I do because I want to have my name passed on around this world and everything. I do what I do because that is my purpose. I feel good after I do it. I love how I feel after I help somebody. And I don't want to help them because I want the world to know I helped them and I want to talk about how much I helped them and I want everybody to say, oh, she helped me. That ain't it. Or that wouldn't be genuine help. I care. I care because the universe blesses me and I get treated so well that it only makes sense to put it back out. Because what you attract yourself to, what you want, you attract. Because we put ourselves in that situation. Treat
Kind
people
of
the way
like you
you
don't have
want.
to film yourself giving people money. You can just give people money.
I don't care if I don't have a pot to piss in because the universe provides. I do not worry about nothing. Nothing. Because my main goal in this world is to love. And I am the richest one doing it. And I feel good doing it. And that's all that matters to me. Because that's how I perceive my life to be. That's my purpose, to love. Not because I want everybody to come to me and say, "Oh, she loved. Oh, she did this for me. She did that for me." I don't care about that stuff. I know what I did, and that's all that matters to me. And then I don't do it because I want to keep thinking about what I did. The universe provides. The universe provides. I am protected and taken care of, and I have mad faith. Mad faith. SGF Graham, what is on your mind?
I'm just listening, to be honest. Wondering when I'm gonna say something, what I'm gonna talk about, because y'all kind of bounced all over the place. I was like, I wouldn't know what to really respond on once you called me out.
Okay. We tend to do that and then we get back on track. We like to take a detour and then come back again. But with perception and reality, I have a feeling or a knowing or a belief system, however you want to say it. To me, I know. Now, if you want to perceive it as a feeling or a belief system, that there's going to be a shift in the world. And it doesn't mean that there's going to be a break off this planet or nothing. It's frequencies are changing, and we are all going to be divided into different frequencies. And those that have that lower vibration stay in the depressed and fighting and everything um and the root chakras will stay and deal with that. Those that are ready to transcend and go will go over and deal with that. And that's just how it's going to be. And I tell people this all the time, and a lot of people look at me like I'm crazy, and they say, but in the reality of things, you're not changing the world around you. And that's not my problem. Because when my perception changes, so will my reality. And I only align myself with the frequency that also shifts with me. Because we are only talking to each other, and those that are watching is because we're all on that same frequency. Because if we weren't on that same frequency, you all wouldn't still be still and tuned and still turned in and tuned in. We tend to surround ourselves around how we see things and how we feel. Because when you're in a negative stuff, you watch Jerry Springer and stay in that negative mindset and the bad girls and whatever else. I don't know. I haven't watched TV in so long. I don't know what's going on. But you surround yourself around that negative energy stuff, gossip, drama, hate, racism, the war, the presidency, all that stuff. You surround yourself around that stuff on purpose because that's what you relate to. Why would you come into a conversation of something that you don't know nothing about? And that's how manifestation is. When you want to speak on things, and let's say you want this and you want that, and let it be bigger than just money. Let it be bigger than just money. You have to know what it feels like to have it. You've got to feel that feeling, think of that thought, smell that smell, know that you already have it. Feel, walk as if it's already existed. I have a bus, and Henry and I live on it and travel. And I don't care what people say. And that's just how it is at the end of the day, because you have to be able to create your own reality. You do. And we do it every single day. Do you remember the description, Henry, that I googled?
For this,
To, yeah, to read off for the show.
I mean, I always have it next to me. The
Can you
bus is
read?
going to be cool.
Not gonna be. It is. Do you want
Oh
to
yeah,
read the description?
I'm gonna read the description. We can
Thank
get back on track. I a
you.
lot of the time just kind of want to like go off on social issues, and I'm trying to control myself.
I know.
This is just one of those. I think it's funny that our perception one's all screwed up and crazy. And I feel like I heard SGF Graham, and I actually want to hear SGF Graham.
Yes. What did you say, SGF?
Oh, I laughed when he said that.
Oh,
Oh, it's ridiculous. Sometimes these things are great. Sometimes I'm just wild and out of my mind. Maybe it's a full moon or something. We'll look into that.
it is a
When
new moon coming on.
Oh, no wonder I feel nuts. Okay.
Yeah.
When considering perception versus reality, manifestation can matter because our perception of a situation, shaped by our thoughts and beliefs, can significantly influence our actions and the outcomes we experience, essentially creating a reality that aligns with our perception, even if it might not fully reflect objective reality. In this sense, manifesting desired outcomes can be achieved by cultivating a positive mindset and actively focusing on what you want to see happen in your life. Start with the first paragraph, or you want me to keep going? Because there's a lot to
That's
dissect there. We
fine.
could
That's
do.
fine. We can go from there. What do you feel
It's
that is agreement or disagreement?
I'm in total agreement with that. It says basically we do have an objective reality, and we're here to shape it. And perceptions are control of being able to do that. And manifestations are a way of basically trying to get the outcomes we want in a positive way. And there's no mathematical equation that says manifestation doesn't work. Okay.
SGF Graham, do you agree with that, or do you agree
Yeah,
with stipulations?
yeah, I definitely agree with it.
I too agree with that. That's how when someone was talking to me and I spoke to them of the shift, they laughed at me and said I was crazy and just went on about their way. And I thought that was the funniest thing I heard. So like I too laughed with them because at the end of the day, I am a little crazy and I'm okay with it because it's not crazy. It just those that don't see it will to say it is. Because those that know, those that don't won't. And I can't, that's not my place to get them to. I'm here to help those that are wanting to see it.
So, by
I
the
mean,
way, oh, go ahead, SGF Grip, please.
either way they see it, they still manifest it. If they said it didn't work. If they really believe that it will work, it will work. So manifestation still wins.
It.
Period.
I was gonna say it goes on to talk about the key points of that about manifestation, and one of those is practices and beliefs. And I can condense that right down to belief is that look at placebos. Look at how placebos actually trick our brain or subconscious into cellularly repairing ourselves.
Hmm.
Those things work a lot. If that's not manifestation of the highest degree, I don't know what is, because
We can tell ourselves as women or men, probably, but I don't think as men, but as women, men want to, but as women, we can tell ourselves that we are pregnant and go through every symptom of being pregnant, including birth, without giving birth to someone because our mind are powerful and because the placebo effect. There's a placebo effect on every single thing in this realm if we choose to allow it to happen. We got to see it, feel it, know it, and believe it. And there's a difference between believing and knowing. A belief is something that you feel strongly about. Knowing is you just know it, and there's no way around it.
objective.
To want something, you don't believe it's going to happen. You have to know it happened and not going to happen. You have to know that it already did happen in order for it to happen.
Right. And it goes on to say, well, our perception influences our reality. The external factors are at play. Our thoughts and beliefs have the ability to manifest tangible results in our lives, shaping the reality we experience on a day-to-day basis. And I guess the most important part about that would be to just remember that there is an objective reality, And there is what influence you have. And acceptance is probably at the top of that list because some things you cannot change, right? And that's a
Can
good
you?
pill to be able to swallow.
Can you? You can change everything, including yourselves. The only thing you can't change is somebody else.
Well, that's something.
That's it. But you can remove that situation from your life. You don't have to allow that to affect you, and that's everybody, including your own children.
Yeah.
Swear you can. Doesn't mean that it's. I'm not suggesting that. I'm just saying. I removed my
Well,
own
you're.
parent. I removed my own parent for the
Oh
betterment
yeah.
of me.
You gotta. Those are the things that hurt the worst. But at the end of the day, the downside, of course, to it is that it says manifestation is not a guaranteed way to achieve anything. It requires taking concrete steps and adapting to external circumstances. And that, I'd forgotten about adaptation as a damn good thing. Learning to adapt.
And that's what it's about. Not even just learning to adapt. It is to control self around you, control things around you. That's how you change your reality. I don't adapt to my surroundings. I change my surroundings. Everything I do
Well,
is everything I do is by choice. I am where I am by choice. And that's everything because I allowed it. I chose it. Because I could have been somewhere else. And that's just how it goes. It's choice. You always have a choice. Even those that think they don't have a choice, you always have a choice.
I'm going to say it's
Then
satire, but strongly agree. We do have choice.
there might be variables. There might be something that's difficult to hurdle over because of certain situations, money, finances, whatnot. But you still have a choice.
I
Nothing's
don't know.
easy.
If I was buried alive, right,
Hmm.
I could lay there and really hate the rest of my life, or I could pull the J out of my pocket and use up the rest of the oxygen. I think I'm a pull the J out of my pocket type of person,
Facts.
right?
Me too. Me too. And realize that I'm not repeating the cycle, and that I learned what I learned, and I'm freeing myself from that by choice.
Yeah, I guess it's sad, but just the way of looking at it. I'll be
It's
right
not
back.
even. I don't feel that it's sad. I don't see that it's sad, and that's where perception comes in. Because I don't see that as sad. I think that's a beautiful way of looking at it, and that's a beautiful way to be able to have that acceptance of what's to come.
Oh God, all I can think of is a never-ending story now for some reason.
Mhm.
You tell me that scene with the horse isn't sad. Get out of here. No, sorry.
I, ha- I had a friend pass away almost a month ago now. It's on the 19th of November. And they were dear and really close to me. And they found out they had cancer, stage 4 cancer. And they knew something was wrong, but they waited for the longest to go get it checked. And when they found out what it was, they didn't go 2 months with it. And it was a short fight. And the thing is, though, if they would have found out a long time ago, it would have been an even longer fight. And then the outcome would have been different. The outcome wouldn't have been it was such a short fight. It would have been, man, they fought a long time and battled this cancer. But they chose not to find out by choice. And then when they did find out, I don't think that they did the proper steps to not allow it to feed. I don't know. I can't say they weren't strong enough because that's not fair to say because I'm not inside their head. I don't know what they did. But you can heal anything and everything within inside yourself because our body's meant to. That's what our body's meant to do. It is meant to repair. You have to remove things, just like life, you have to remove things in order to heal. You have to detoxify, remove the parasites, change what you eat, start exercising, get the proper sleep, proper intake of H23, the proper nutrients, fluids. Start eating healthy, active living foods, herbs, and whatnot, and you will be able to heal anything. And a lot of people spoke on that are no longer here because they knew that you could. Yet, this corporation we live in will not give you those keys. That's something you have to learn on your own. Right, Henry?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
maybe if he knew he had cancer before it got to stage 4, maybe he would still be fighting it, or maybe he would have lost his fight earlier on. I don't know. I just know that a lot of people, because if you knew what your purpose was before you came here, do you think you would change how you learned it?
I don't know. Death is a part of life.
Yeah,
I don't think
for
it's
sure.
necessarily so much the death that is sad, but I do have issues with how we let people get to that part. How it's split down the middle. How a select few seem to get it so well, and others. And it doesn't bother me is that laziness is the proprietor of it. I don't think that's necessarily. I think that we have the resources to make a lot of problems disappear, and we just don't. And I think that's what's sad. Not the death, but it's so easily we could prevent certain things.
And a lot of it is not just from the government, or what we talk about before. We may know and we still do it. We still do what we know we shouldn't do. A lot of people still drink alcohol knowing that they shouldn't drink alcohol. A lot of people do drugs knowing that that drug might be your last breath. I think it's the want and the care. Even though this is a very hard place and very ugly at times, it is also very, very, very extremely beautiful and very, 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 very extremely rewarding. And it's the best place to be, especially at this time. This is the best place to be. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I think it is, and I think a little bit of uncomfort could buy us many years of extreme comfort, but not if we're weighing and measuring each other based on modern statistics so much.
Or
I think there's
trauma.
yeah,
We
I think
weigh and
that's a
base
good place
people
to
on
go.
trauma. You notice that? We weigh and base people off of trauma too. You don't get it because you haven't been through what I've been through.
Me.
No, that's what people say to people. You won't get it because you don't know what it's like to
Sure. Well,
be.
the rich kid with the silver spoon who offs himself suffered the same way you did. We just don't perceive it that way.
You get it.
Everything's relevant.
You said me. You know that's not of me. So I was speaking. That's what people
Oh, I
say.
know. I match energy in kind. I'm
Yeah.
kind of a prick sometimes.
Peace,
I like it.
peace, peace,
I spend a lot of time being a people pleaser, so it brings me great joy to be a prick in certain situations.
peace.
I try to
it
do it without harming.
it's healthy boundaries with charitism.
I grew up with South Park. There's no excuse. Good backbone. But I do care about people. That's the difference. Duality.
Yeah. So SGF Graham, are we gonna have to have a part two or probably not?
Uh, I wanted to hear what Just B had to say.
Yeah,
Well,
he's coming in on Thursday.
okay,
We
but
can we can definitely do a part two.
um,
And but
maybe we can catch what he said, and we can have something that relates to this that we can keep flowing to. Well, pretty much
okay,
everything we talk to relates to perception so far
that.
with me.
And I don't know anybody that sees it differently to come in and say something. I don't know anyone that feels strongly against what we're saying. I would love somebody to come in here and give me a different view.
But that would explain the point of the show.
It would.
It would eat your own tail in that sense of the word. I think it's hard to
No,
explain, hard to have a perception show because it is such a broad topic that gets discussed so much and relates so heavily to what we talk about a lot of the time that trying to focus on it is impossible. We end up talking about ADHD and whatnot.
but it wouldn't break the purpose of the show if someone come in and said no, this is because of this and because of that. It wouldn't change how the show is because we are the people's podcast and everybody's opinion matters.
No,
And
yeah,
I want
please come in.
and I want different opinions. I want different perceptions. I want different ideals because I love, not only do I love being a teacher and teach, I love being a student. I love that spiritual food. I love that how somebody else sees it because I want to be able to see both sides to every situation. I do. It feels good. It feels good not picking a side and saying, oh, no, 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 I'm just going to do this. It feels good. I get it. I feel both sides. I get it. I see both sides. And a lot of my friends that well, I don't associate with a lot of people, but the people I do surround myself around, they know I'm one of those people that sees both sides to every situation. I'm always the one that says, I get both sides. I get both sides because the color spectrum, black is not a color, nor is white. Everything comes from the shade of brown and starts losing the pixels and the whatever to go down the hues to to go down to minute or nothing. But although I love seeing somebody else's side to a story.
I like to hear it. I don't always agree with everybody, but I like to hear it. I like to be able to hear it. What's the seeing red thing?
Yeah, I don't disagree. I can't. It's not, who am I to tell them that they're wrong? Just because I don't see it that way doesn't mean it's wrong. And I tell Henry that all the time. Just because I don't agree with you doesn't mean your opinion's wrong. Because it's not. Because I'm not saying mine's right. That's just how I'm perceiving it. But anyway, so I have an event. And Henry, if you could make it to Flint on the 18th of January, I would love to have your presence. I haven't spoke with you. I've been dealing with a lot with a phone situation. Um,
Yes.
my new iPhone that I just got given to me, all of a sudden one day got SOS on it, and I'm like, what the heck happened? And it stayed in SOS mode, and I couldn't get it out of SOS mode, and I kept on trying and trying and trying. The phone was given to me by my son, who was given to him by his boss. And when he no longer, his ex boss, and when he no longer worked there, he said, "Do you want the phone back?" And he's like, "No, just keep it. I don't care about that thing." And he's like, "Okay." So he ended up giving it to me. Well, his ex boss reported it stolen and um
Oh,
did fraud on it, so he didn't have to pay for it.
well, shit. Say sometimes they can go into SOS mode and there's a way to get them out, but that
No,
sounds like a unique situation.
yeah, because I went to the store and we went through every step, and no, it's reported stolen. It says on the system that it's stolen. That's why they can't. put no card on it. It's not rejecting the cards. It's reporting stolen, and that's what they do with iPhones. They report them stolen. If you say that someone doesn't have you don't have that phone anymore, and you try to get out of paying for the phone to commit fraud, you just say that it was stolen, and then you don't have to pay for the phone no more because you don't have it. So that's what they did, which is crazy. But at the end of the day, that's not my problem. But nonetheless, January 17th or 18th at 124 First Street, Flint, Michigan, there's going to be an event. I'm not going to say her name wrong. Henry, if it's Thee, is it considered the?
I would say so.
The Dyke is putting it on. It is one of her events. She's overseeing the event, and she's an amazing artist. And we were honored to be able to be there and water them. And we're going
Wow.
live off of the Twisted team, and we are recording the event live from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. at 124 West First Street. I do believe it's West. I should look, huh? I'm really good with numbers, but I'm not good with direction though. So yes, West First Street, 124 West First Street, Flint, Michigan, 48502. It is
Most,
the
most certainly
Tomb
send it to me.
Tomb Boons. Peter Larry Loud is going to be hosting it, and we are covering it. And there's going to be a lot of dope, amazing artists. So artists. I sorry, Henry. I do that on purpose, unintentionally on purpose. A lot
I
of
know.
dope artists are going to be there, and
You pronounced my name for a year for fun.
unintentionally. But anyways, yes, I will share it with you. But yeah, um,
It's
I just want to put that out there. I know it's a month from now, but or it's actually exactly a month from now. But we're promoting it because we're gonna be there. So
well, it's good. I need like a 3 month notice usually anywhere. My horse and carriage is that.
SGF Graham, we're gonna leave on some knowledge. What do you want to spread the knowledge of for today's subject?
Always think positive. Um, Even if you can't think positive, just shut your mind down. It's better than thinking negative. Sometimes shutting down and just peace, be still, be quiet is way better than being negative.
I gotta let you know something. I love your authenticity. I
I
appreciate that,
appreciate
admire
you.
it. Yeah. Henry, knowledge, buddy.
Well, I don't have any knowledge. It's satire. You know,
Yeah.
with perception, oh, there's so much you could say about that. You know what? Uh, don't let don't let things get to you too hard. If you do, it'll drive you crazy. If you want to be the change, be the change. If you don't want to be the change, don't be the change. Just make sure it feels right. Normal's what feels right to you.
So he said normal. What is the definition of normal? Your definition of normal may be different than somebody else's. Remember that you are allowed to feel however you feel, and no one's telling you what you're feeling is wrong. Just make sure you're loving yourself correctly and feeling correctly. Because if not, you're not helping you, you are hindering you. But growth is a choice. You don't have to grow. If you are perfectly comfortable, numb in the toxicness of your environment, then allow yourself to stay in that and don't care what nobody else says or thinks. Because at the end of the day, you control your own reality. That's all I'm saying. May everyone's night be full of positive energy and high vibrations. Peace and love, and you matter, and so does your opinion. So come on here and talk about it with us. Appreciate, love you. We all appreciate, love you.
Peace, peace.
Ashe.
Let's get to the bottom of this one. Unspoken truths that I miss one. Tap into the minds of the people, rather acknowledge before I dismiss one. Atheists, Muslim, Christians, Buddhists, they all got usage. All got perspective, it's a collective. Get to the bottom where the truth is, where the heart's uncovered. Where you detox from all of the lies you smothered. Where them tries could have killed you, but with faith you recover. Yup. Peel off the makeup, we finna take off. Never said it'd be a cakewalk. Meditate till we charged up. Execute goes regardless. Decalcify my pineal. Breaking language barriers, we saw millennials. Planets passing age rotations, down me we owe. So down me we know. Sometimes we can be slow, that's why my ears open. Every drop you add could complete the ocean. Speak up, play your part too. Been vulnerable, it's so